Breaking news in the world of college football. Bill Belichick, one of the greatest head coaches in NFL history, now will be the next head coach of the University of North Carolina. Tonight on a Nation Sports Show, we also analyze Week 14 in the National Football League. During Week 14, one of the best games took place during this year's regular season. In the Motor City, the Detroit Lions took on the Green Bay Packers, an epic encounter between two arch nemesis in the NFC North Division. During Week 14, there were some shocking upsets that took place, and some playoff spots and division titles were clinched. Tonight, we also bring to you our Week 15 prediction battles, and in Major League Baseball, we analyze the massive 15-year deal for Juan Soto, joining the New York Mets on a 15-year contract worth $765 million. It's showtime.
Good up to the court, talking all that is sport, breaking down the latest news, scores, and more. Welcome to our Nation Sports Show.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a special Thursday edition of our Nation Sports Show, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate that. We're sorry about the little bit of delay. Some scheduling conflicts on Tuesday prevented pretty much all of us from being on the show. So thank goodness some of us were able to get together today, and we are here. We are ready to rock with you guys tonight. Of course, tonight we got a little Thursday night football action. Of course, we got that. We'll cover that. We'll cover all things in the world of the NFL from last week, as well as getting into our score predictions, as we always do. And then we got the NBA, and then of course we got NBA, and we got Major League Baseball news, the Juan Soto trade. We got, of course, the breaking news that broke today about Bill Belichick. We're going to get into all of that later on here in just a few minutes. But first of all, I'm as a Vickery, of course, and I'm glad to be back in the host chair after taking a week or two off. And now let's go to the ways you can interact with us on the show, and that is, of course, Owen_Sports Show on the Twitter/X, Facebook.com, Instagram.com, and YouTube.com/Our Nation Sports Show. Don't forget to follow us there, like, subscribe, share on our YouTube, where we are live pretty much every Tuesday, except on certain days, from 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific time. And it's going to be, and of course, we all talk about things in world sports, little wrestling, little music every once in a while, but mainly sports. And then don't forget to join the guys and gal as well. Don't forget to join them. Nation's Corner, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, every Saturday, youtube.com/The Nation's Corner. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies. Even if they don't want to hear it, tell them, because they got to hear anyway, so screw them. Don't forget to also follow Nation's Corner at The Nation's Corner Nation's Corner across all their socials. Search it up, look it up. That's how you do it. Also, don't forget to follow Too Sweet Cosplay at Too Sweet Cosplay across all socials. We are preparing to get ready as we hit January, and as we always do in January, C2E2 coming up in April, the weekend before WrestleMania. So we're getting things prepared. We're hoping to be back. We'll see what happens, but we're going to be ready to rock and roll either way. So get ready for that. All right, enough of my spiels, enough for the stuff I'm not getting paid to do, because obviously none of us get paid because we're doing this for free because we're idiots. But No, we love doing this. We will do it free every day, like we always do. But enough of my spiels, enough of my bad jokes. Let's go ahead and get to, well, for right now, the only other person in the room with me. And well, and of course, that just means that Joey will be joining us here closer to the top of the hour at 8 o'clock Eastern. He'll be joining us close to there to talk. Kevin Rory is a game time decision, as we like to say. Also, Hijacker Mike will not be joining us this week due to the schedule change. So for this week, but he did give us the scores, and we'll have that for you in just a little while. But with me right now is my heavy metal brother from the great state of North Kakalaki, North Carolina, a, a place rich in history and sports, even more so now that they got the 48-year head coach, and we'll get into of the greatest sport in the world, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. Here he is, the drummer extraordinaire, the king of the pocket, Mr. Not John Bonham, but Stephen Wyand.
Yes, 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 yes. What a hell of a victory for the state of North Carolina, getting one of the greatest head coaches in sports history, Bill Belichick, the newly head coach for the North Carolina Tar Heels. And this is going to be a very interesting ride because, I mean, for those that don't know, his father was a part of the coaching staff, and this is surreal news. And just the last couple of days, just hearing about this, like it's crazy. And to think that this is a reality, and it is a reality, and can't wait to talk about that. And also, like you allured to, Juan Soto's big deal with the Mets and Week 14 in the NFL, and highlighted by one of the best games this year of this regular season for 24. The Lions and the Packers in the Motor City. That game lived up to the hype and then some. And just a lot going on. Looking forward to another prediction battles in the second hour and all of that good stuff in between. Let's do this.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know what? Let's go ahead and get into it. I know Joey's going to talk about it in a little bit when he comes on, but let's get right into it. Let's talk about this unbelievable, and I truly mean unbelievable deal. Juan Soto signed a 15-year, $735 million deal. Insane. Just overall astronomical numbers. It, to me, ridiculous. I mean, look, you paid Giancarlo Stanton for what? 18 years, 15 years, $325 million, and he, for a while, did not live up to the hype. Nope. It wasn't until the Yankees started to get hot again, and he started to get his bat hot, that he really lived up to it. You had other cases like try to remember, there was a couple other cases where somebody had signed these big money contracts and they just turned to shit. They didn't do anything. So my concern is it's 15 years. It's that astronomical of a price. Obviously, baseball has no salary cap. They can pay whatever the hell they want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty much a given at this point. So the question I have, Steven, and you can elaborate on this while I go take care of something for just for about 2 minutes or so. Tell me, where does this end? Like, where does this end? These numbers are getting more and more ridiculous every couple of years. We're getting these baseball players who are getting near $1 billion.
And I was just about to say that.
What if they don't produce? What if it's a flush? What if it's a box? What if it's a bomb? Then
Right.
what do you do? You're out $735 million for a guy who could be injured the next 4 seasons, and then he's never the same again.
Yeah, because I mean, like I was just about to say that because when Shohei Ohtani signed that massive deal with the Dodgers worth over 700 million, we were crushing this guy, on the show last year when he signed that ridiculous deal, and I believe he had like 70 million guaranteed in the first couple of years. Now, fortunately for Ohtani, the Dodgers won the World Series in the first year of his massive contract. So, really, no matter what he does, I'm not saying that he can play like crap the next couple of years and all that type of stuff, and he'll be fine. He'll be Teflon. But no. But winning a World Series in your first year, getting this massive deal with the Dodgers this year was a massive win for him and the team. But Juan Soto, getting a 15-year deal worth $765 million rejecting the Yankees' offer of one more year, which would have been 16 years and $5 million less dollars. Unreal. Or actually 5,000, excuse me. Rejecting their offer of 760. Instead, going to set the 765. It is insane how this guy not only rejected the Yankees, but and I'm not a Yankees fan, but in the Yankees fans' eyes, he spat in their faces. Because he was one of the key contributing factors, as we all know, to getting this Yankee team back to the World Series for the first time since 2009. And he was one of the few players that actually played pretty well in the World Series. He actually showed up and played pretty well in this series, unlike Aaron Judge. And now, to his credit, Soto did show up last year and played pretty well predominantly all year long. Now, fast forward to getting this deal with the Mets. I understand why Yankee fans are pissed off while Juan chose the Mets over the Yankees. Because in their eyes, he chose the Mets over the Yankees because of cash. He could get more money on one less year. It's nuts. Rejecting a team that took you to the World Series, that you were responsible for going to the World Series. And I know that the Mets had a magic carpet ride of a season this past year, all the way to the champion or to the divisional series, or the championship series, excuse me, the championship series against the Dodgers. They took the Dodgers to 6 games, and that made the Dodgers work for it. And even though the Mets, got blown out in game 6 in LA, they still fought, a valiant effort, but they didn't get over the hump. And yeah, you can pay Juan a shit ton of money, but like you said, Ezra, this does not mean this is going to equal results on the diamond.
Yeah, exactly. That's my concern, is that he's going to end up being a bust, and there goes all that money flushed down the toilet. I mean, baseball needs a salary cap. These players do not need that astronomical amount of money. I'm sorry. No player should be making over $250,000.
Because now that begs the question. You said the word billion, and it wouldn't surprise me in the next 10 to 15 years that we see a baseball player making $1 billion to either pitch or to hit.
Yeah, I agree on that 100%, man.
I mean, is he a hell of a player? Yeah, he is a hell of a player. But
that's hilarious. Randy just posted a photo of him watching the show right now on his big screen, and Sprocket is sitting on like a chair watching it intently. Watching your big old melon head. So, good old Sprocket.
And according to Soto in his introduction with the Mets, he says he didn't even talk to the Yankees in the offseason, afterwards.
That sounds about right.
That does sound about right.
Yeah. But yeah, apparently Sprocket is your number one fan.
Yep.
Congratulations. Oh, I was going to make a joke, but it'd probably get us kicked off YouTube. I'm not going to go there. It involves cat and a term for a cat and a joke about Steven, but we'll leave it there. We'll leave that shit alone.
Actually, I stand correct. Okay, I was correct. It is 5 million, not 5,000. I was correct on the first initial take. 5 million. Yep, so I was correct initially. The Yankees lost out on $5 million. It's crazy. Like, to
Breaking
lose.
breaking news: Steven is correct. More news at 11.
But it is just fascinating to me that these baseball players are getting paid a shit ton of money, and a lot of the times the results aren't being shown. I mean, oh my God. I mean, Alex Rodriguez and, his massive deal, years with the Yankees. For a lot of those years, he was inconsistent.
And
And
look,
the,
I could see, like, to be honest, I could see like a football player, like let's say, I could see a Patrick Mahomes getting a 5-year, $200 million deal, something like that, or $150 million. I could see that for 5 years. But for a baseball player to get 15 years, 765 million is absolutely astronomically stupid.
he is
And
basically set for life. I mean,
baseball needs a salary cap, because this is
I agree. Because you can have endless amounts of money, spending, sprees, and get whoever you want to fill out the positions on your baseball team. And it's crazy because the fact that he took $5 million more to go to the state's, rivals, to go to from the Yankees who went to the World Series to a Mets team who is at times up and down, you know, not consistent every year. But the Mets are constantly a talk of the town because they're in one of the biggest capitals of the world, one of the biggest states in the world, in New York. And it is remarkable how money will change your ways and change your attitude. Because if this is the case, I would love to know what made Soto do what he did to take $5 million more to go to the Mets and basically tell the Yankees to go screw themselves. Because the fact that he said today in his presser with the Mets that he has not spoken to Judge or any of his teammates since the World Series loss, that tells me a couple of things. The biggest thing for me is he was disappointed in the team. And I understand that because he's thinking, geez, man, this team has been this team's fan base, even though they were, let's be honest, they were spoiled for years and years and years of having success, of winning World Series in the 20s, the 30s, the 50s, the 90s dynasty with Derek Jeter and company, and then the one lone championship, after 9 years in 2009. And then they went a full decade and 15 years, 15, 17 years without even sniffing a World Series appearance because the Astros were their kryptonite. All those times when they were in the postseason, in the division series or the championship league series in the AL. And Soto comes to the team and he over-delivered. I mean, there was times where Judge and Giancarlo Stanton were not showing up in the game. And I remember listening to the Guardians and the Yankees game, and Soto had a 3-1 count, and he swung for, 3-1 count, hit one out of the park. Then in another game, he had a 2-3 count, a full freaking count, or 3-2 count, a 3-2 count, a full count, and he blasted a 2-run home run to win the game. And the Yankees had, momentum on their side because, even though the Guardians gave them a run for their money in that championship series, because it was a hell of a series. The World Series comes, and the Yankees made some critical errors, not just in the managing department, but also in the performances on the diamond. Because there were times they could have been leading this series against the Dodgers, even though Soto was playing good. And, Garrett Cole was pitching his ass off, having some great games, and obviously game 5 was a critical error for him. he made an error himself, but also his other teammates, Judge, was responsible for that debacle, giving up a 5-0 run in the fifth inning against the Dodgers. I mean, because the Yankees could have been, on the precedent of possibly forcing this series to a game 7 because they took game 4. If they would have, held on and took game 5, they got game 6. Who knows what the hell would have happened? Because all the pressure would have been on the Dodgers. And I get what Soto's thinking. Damn, I bring this great effort to this team, but in the World Series, the majority of these guys, they let me down. So I get it. What do you think? Do you get what I'm saying? Because I really think that Soto, the reason why he left is because he was disappointed in this team. How they underperformed in the World Series mostly.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think yes, money talks, bullshit walks. I understand it's only
Agreed.
$5 more million, but 5 million extra is 5 million extra to anybody. But also, too, I do agree. Maybe he felt like he was slighted by his team and the lackluster performance they had in the World Series. The fact that the team members were not showing up, the bats were not getting hot, and he had to
And
put in.
the bullpen was shit. The bullpen was terrible. Oh, it was awful. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're taking out Garrett Cole. I don't give a damn that he's pitched, that he's thrown so many pitches in game 5. Keep him in the game. And then in game 1, he threw what? Like 87, 88 pitches? And then you took him out?
I remember that.
And then you put in a pitcher who hadn't played at that time since I think it was September the 8th or the 18th. Like, complete asinine. I mean, to take out your best pitcher in the game on your roster, and that's where the Yankees also lost the World Series, was their bullpen was so bad. The Dodgers bullpen, unlike the Yankees, was stronger. They had guys they could throw in there, at the 11th hour, and they could get you out of jams at times. Like if your pitcher is struggling, you can go to the bullpen. Hey, get us out of this jam, would you please? And they would, and I get it, so. And I understand why Soto, in a way, would choose the Mets because, he's trying to create that buzz for the Mets. And obviously he just did with this massive deal and $765 million, $5 more million than what the Yankees offered in one more last year, like we've said. And the Mets do have talent, but that does not mean they're going to make a full run to the World Series next year in 2025.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Joey will elaborate on this more when he gets in. But also, too, we want to put out real quick a couple of notes from other parts of the sports world. Obviously, some good news and some disheartening news. We heard about a week or so ago that Randy Moss is stepping away from Monday Night Football coverage as for a time being due to a health issue. Now, it was originally reported that by somebody close to him said that it was liver cancer. Well, his son came out and said that that's not the case and that the matter is being kept private until Randy feels like he's ready to tell the world. But he is undergoing something, I guess, pretty serious. So all the best to Randy Moss. And hopefully he gets better and he gets back out there doing the coverage with the guys on Monday Night Football and ESPN, Monday Night Countdown. Also, want to send a congratulations to the legendary Dick Vitale. Dick Vitale has announced today that he has beaten cancer for the 4th time.
Yes. Yeah, baby.
Yes, congratulations to Dick on once again kicking cancer's ass. Congratulations to him.
Awesome.
And you mentioned Garrett earlier. You mentioned Garrett Cole. Well, there was another Garrett in the news, and that was in the world of baseball, and that was Garrett Crochet, who happens to be one of the pitchers for the White Sox. And he was traded by the Sox. I'm trying to pull up here the specifics if I can find it. Let's see here. Here we go. He was sent from the White Sox to the Boston Red Sox And catcher Kyle Teal, outfielder Braden Montgomery, infielder Chase Maybroth, and right-hander uh, Wickelman Gonzalez are heading to Chicago in exchange for Crochet. So, yep, he was a relief role, but he became a starter after, of course, after Liam Hendricks left and all that. So, so,
Here's
we
another
have,
note in baseball. Yankees have discussed, speaking of the Yankees, have discussed Will Warren and Cody Bellinger trade offers.
yeah, that's interesting. Cody Bellinger, yeah. Um, let's see. I'm trying to think here. What else, real quick? I don't see anything else in the world of baseball, so let's go ahead and move on to. Let's talk a little bit of I guess we can get into football since football is going to be the dominating.
Oh no! Here's another one. The Yankees signed former Braves pitcher.
Oh,
That
really?
was that was in the news. Max
Scherzer?
no. Uh, Give me a second. They signed him on a deal. Let me get the name. Max Fried. 8 years, 218 million.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is Joey JT Thornton.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
We were just talking about these baseball signings and stuff that's gone on the last couple of days, like Soto, his deal,
Well,
and we were
gee,
about
looks like I came on at just the right time then, huh?
yes you did.
I came on at just the right time.
And former Braves pitcher Max Fried going to the Yankees on an 8-year, $218 million deal.
Well, since we've been talking about baseball, let me give my two opinions on the two free agent contracts I want to talk about. First up, the one that you guys were just talking about, Max Fried going to the Yankees. Now, as an Atlanta Braves fan, this one has to sting a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. This one really does have to sting a little bit. But Max Fried, whenever he's been out there on the mound, he has been one of the most prolific starting pitchers that MLB has ever seen. And I knew that he was going to request a big money contract whenever his contract was up with the Braves. Because I'm not going to lie, Fried has absolutely deserved it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it going to suck seeing him in that ugly New York pinstripe uniform? Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. It's going to suck. But I do wish Max Fried the best of luck. Because he was a major part of our 2021 World Series championship team with his pitching. As a matter of fact, he was the one that pitched, or he was the one that was the winning pitcher in that Game 6 against the Houston Astros back in 21. So it was because of him and his amazing pitching that we won the World Series that night. So I do wish Fried the best of luck, but not the Yankees. So now, the big one. The one that every single baseball fan has been waiting for. Juan Soto has found him a new home. Specifically with the New York Mets. Now, I got a few things to say about this one. First off, well, actually, you know what? I'm just going to cut right to the chase. I have some concerns.
Mm-hmm.
I have some
Yes, we
concerns
do.
about this contract.
Yep.
I have some concerns. First off, well, Okay, the team itself. Because, I mean, the Mets, they have been known as one of the teams in baseball to start off on a hot streak, but then it's almost like they turn into ice cold icicles after the All-Star break or in the second half of the Major League season. Now, granted, it did not happen this past year, but there has been a long history of it happening. And I'm not knocking the fact that Juan Soto is definitely going to bring that hitting and fielding prowess to the Mets. But like I heard you say, Steven, right before I came on, because I was tuning in on YouTube for a minute while I was getting my laptop warming up. But like I heard you say, just because Juan Soto is now on the Mets doesn't mean that they're going to have the star power to go to the World Series year in and year out. Now, the Mets, they do have some talent. I'll give them that. But the Mets have also been known to lose in key moments when it comes down to the nitty-gritty.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of that is my top concern. Because obviously Juan Soto said before he signed his deal, he was being contacted by multiple teams. But he narrowed it down to a select few, and then he chose where he wanted to go out of those few. But I do remember Juan Soto saying that he wanted to go to a team that is a World Series contender, is a deep playoff contender. Because Juan Soto has that mindset about him, and that's a great mindset to have. I'm not going to lie. That is a great mindset to have. But if the Mets continue to struggle the way that they have in years past, eventually Juan Soto is going to get tired of it. I mean, Juan Soto can put up the most amazing stats in, let's just say, 5 years because he has an opt-out after 5 years. So what if in that time frame the Mets just continue to struggle the way that they have in years past? What if they never make it to the playoffs in those 5 years?
What if he doesn't hit that much home runs?
What if he does? Yeah. What if he struggles? And I'll get to that concern in just a minute. But yeah, what if the Mets just continue to struggle the way they have been in years past? What if he gets hurt at some point in the season and he has to miss a week, 2 weeks, a month, a couple months? I mean, yeah, I'm not going to lie, the Mets do have some talent, but it's not going to be enough to get them on a deep playoff run, especially with all these other teams that there are out there who have these amazing players on their roster. And also, the money is definitely a concern for me.
And that was the biggest point we were hitting on too, Joey, is that okay,
because
he took $5 million more to go to the Mets over the Yankees, and he's making, $765 million. Then we were talking about going, okay, you're going to start seeing players eventually, probably 10 years down the road, making $1 billion, either pitching or hitting. It's ridiculous.
It really is. It truly, truly is. And this money is definitely a concern for me. Because, what if Juan Soto decides he wants to opt out after 5 years and go to another team? Because, I mean, with this 15-year contract, he's pretty much guaranteed that he's going to play the rest of his career as a New York Met. That's pretty much a guarantee right there, because the guy is 26 years old right now. So that means whenever he gets done with his contract, he's going to be 41 years old. He's going to be on the tail end of his baseball career.
But here, and I'll play devil's advocate here. What if he doesn't even finish out the contract with the Mets? Because there's not a guarantee that he'll last 15 years with the Mets.
Exactly. And that is my next point. What if Juan Soto decides to opt out after 5 years and go to another team, but with this contract, he's going to be averaging an annual value of $51 million a year. So let's do some quick math here. $51 million a year times 5, that is $255 million, which means he's going to have $510 million left on his contract if he decides to opt out. And you know that Juan Soto is going to want that money. But here's the main question. How many of the other 29 ball clubs that are out there in the major leagues are going to want to buy out Juan Soto's contract so that he can sign in another one? I'll go ahead and answer that question for you. No one. No one is gonna want to even think about buying out the rest of Juan Soto's contract. Nobody is, because nobody has that kind of money just floating around like they're Bill Gates or something. Mm-hmm. Nobody has that money floating around. And also, let's just say, and this is a huge God forbid, trust me, this is a huge God forbid, but it is actually quite fitting that this contract was signed between Juan Soto and the Mets. Because what if something were to happen where Juan Soto gets in trouble off the field doing something? It don't matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
This, if it were to happen, this could lead to, and I'm sure you guys are going to be very familiar with this name I'm about to give you, Bobby Bonilla 2.0.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because think about it. The Mets, they're still having to pay Bobby Bonilla for the next 15 years. Or actually, scratch that, the next 20 years. Because I remember seeing that once Juan Soto has 5 years, or no. They're going to be paying him for the next 10 years. That's right. So Bobby Bonilla will finally get all of his payments from the New York Mets once Juan Soto has 5 years left on his contract. Or maybe it was the other way around. But anyway, yeah, what if this turns into a Bobby Bonilla 2.0? Then the Mets would really be screwed.
Mm-hmm.
They would really be screwed. They would never want to sign a high-profile free agent ever again.
Yep, because I'll be thinking the whole old mantra: "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me." Because I'm an idiot for biting the bullet not once but twice.
Exactly. So I mean, and yes, as an Atlanta Braves fan, this one definitely stings also about Juan Soto going to the Mets, just like it stung whenever Bryce Harper went to the Philadelphia Phillies.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, that's pretty much all I have at this point. I mean, I hope it doesn't happen with the whole Bobby Bonilla thing, but I'm just saying it's a possibility. A very slight possibility, but a possibility nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. All right. Moving on. Let's get into the wonderful world of the NFL. We got a lot to get into. Well, actually, first, let's dig into the college world, and let's talk about the big news that dropped, and that is, of course, the home state of these two gentlemen, along with Mr. Kevin Rory, has a new head coach, and that is, of course, the University of North Carolina Tar Heels now have the legendary future NFL Hall of Famer, Bill Belichick at the helm. 5-year deal for the absolute icon. So, what are your thoughts on this?
First off, it's not Bill Belichick, it's Bill Belicheat.
What are you, Randy?
Did Randy pay you off to say this?
I get.
Randy doesn't have the money. He's got to do Sprockets eating him at a house and home. Sprockets got
When negotiations were in effect.
Sprocket's got a 24-karat gold cat bed because of Randy.
But I mean, I get the fact that Bill Belichick was wanting to go back into coaching, but this is not what I was expecting at all. And let me tell you why.
You should have went to the Panthers.
College football has changed drastically over these past few years with 3 little letters I like to call NIL. These NIL deals have driven these college athletes wild, getting sponsorships, getting extra money on top of their scholarships that they're already getting, and it's causing them to get these big heads saying, oh yeah, I got all these sponsorships and I got this hefty scholarship that's going to get me into God knows where in 4 years' time whenever it's time for me to graduate. And I mean, I'm happy for him, but at the same time, it's kind of questionable to me because Bill Belichick is now going into the coaching ranks facing this NIL stuff that's going on when it was the NIL stuff that drove Nick Saban into retirement, because Nick Saban was the king of college football coaching, the king of modern day college football coaching. But he himself said he didn't feel like he could coach the game anymore because of all these things that these players are trying to do. It's like it's almost like they're running their whole entire lives by not even listening to a coach saying, oh, well, I'm a 5-star prospect coming out of my high school. I ain't got to do, I'm already the best college football. I'm already one of the best players on this team, whether I'm a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, whatever.
Right.
These players are getting these big heads. And I'm just worried that Bill Belichick is not going to last. Yes, he did sign a 5-year deal. And I commend him for that. But still, Bill Belichick is going to be in a locker room, not with professional athletes. He's going to be in a room with literal high school kids, it seems like. They're so full of themselves, so cocky, so over-natured, so cream of the crop, I might
And also,
say.
as well, to add, he's going to have to recruit.
Yeah, he's going to have to recruit. I mean, Bill Belichick has never had to do any of this stuff. I mean, he's going to be competing with other coaches, other schools, to try to get these players. And I get it. These players, these North Carolina Tar Heel football players, are probably looking at themselves saying, all right, we're going to have a legendary head coach on the sidelines. But it's not going to matter if you don't go out onto the field and provide the results that everybody is expecting. which leads to my last concern. What if these fans, these players, this whoever is involved with North Carolina, they're probably looking on sports news saying Bill Belichick has agreed to be the next head coach of the UNC Tar Heels. And everybody's like, pinch me, I must be dreaming.
Yeah, because when you hear this stuff,
because they now see that they have not only a guy who is near the top as far as wins for a head coach, but the guy has also won 6 Super Bowls in the NFL. And I get it. Belichick is a legendary coach, and when his time comes, he's going to go into the Hall of Fame. I have no doubt about that. But look what Bill Belichick has done ever since Tom Brady left the Patriots.
it's a good point.
He hasn't done anything. He hasn't guided the Patriots, or he didn't guide the Patriots to a playoff berth once after Tom Brady left. So I hope that these players and these fans are not going to expect Belichick to overachieve like he has in the past. Because quite honestly, it's going to cost him. It's going to cost him. If they expect this guy to overachieve, then that means he's going to try too hard to prove himself, only to find out that UNC, let's just say, for example, they're going to finish, let's just say 4-8 next year.
Mm-hmm.
And then they still might have him around, and they might do even worse or the same the following year. Until eventually they're like, well, I mean, I thought we were going to get the 333 win, 6 Super Bowl championship coach Bill Belichick. Not the bust that we saw once Tom Brady left, so maybe we need to move on to somebody else.
Because that's also, and it's a nice little segue with Soto and Belichick getting paid what they're getting paid with their respective organizations, and universities.
That's right.
If they do not achieve success, the school for UNC and the team in the New York Mets can still make the decision to cut ties with both Soto and Belichick. Because when you hear the news that Belichick is going back into the coaching realm, but going to UNC, it doesn't seem real at the time because he coached in the NFL for such a long period of time, whether it was as a defensive coordinator, a linebackers coach, defensive coach, defensive line coach, like just different, different positions, defensive back coach. I mean, just different ways of coaching. He did it. And yeah, his father might have ties to the University of North Carolina. And when he's done, he wants his son to be there. Okay, yeah, that's great and all, but you still have to go out there and produce results.
Exactly.
And you're doing it like you said, kids coming out of high school going into college. You're going to have to teach these kids lessons, life lessons on how to conduct yourself as a human being on and off the field.
He's going to have to teach these kids how to be model citizens and not act like jerks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be a challenge.
Yeah. You mentioned about sons earlier. There is one note I want to make, and this does involve the world of boxing, because Elijah Holyfield, who is the son of the great Evander Holyfield, made his WWE debut on the new WWE show that they're taping called LFG.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Yep, he made his official WWE debut in a match. Of course, Elijah is a former running back for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Interesting.
Yep,
really?
Knee injury in 2022 ended his football career, and so he transitioned over to pro wrestling.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep. And of course,
Speaking of sons, since you brought it up, there's something that I wanted to bring up real quick. Let me just find out the dude's name real quick. Okay, here we go. You want to talk about an ultimate backstab? Check this out. Everybody knows who Kirk Herbstreit is, right?
Yes.
College Game Day co-host,
Yep.
also known as quarterback of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yep.
yeah.
Well, check this out. His son, Chase Herbstreit, a quarterback in the class.
Oh boy. Ah! Oh,
Internet completely just crapped out.
the timing on that was just wow. His son, delete. Uh, this is what happens when you do live shows. Anything can happen. Wow. Wow.
Damn, man.
Hard times. Hard times. Well, I'm pretty sure he'll get to that thought again whenever he comes back around. Hopefully his internet decides to come back. Oh boy. Oh boy. Moving
All right,
on for
moving
now.
on. Moving on at some other news. Justin Herbert said yesterday that he suffered a sprained left ankle in the team's 19-17 loss this past Sunday to the Kansas City Chiefs. He's currently listed as day-to-day. In a Wednesday's league meeting, they talked to Mark Davis, of course, the owner of the Raiders, on the future of head coach Antonio Pierce. He said, I don't even want to talk about that right now.
I mean, who could blame the guy? I mean, the Raiders have lost 9 consecutive games in a row. They've been abysmal for the majority all year long. There has been games where they have competed, but there's times where injuries and inconsistency of playing, by Gardner Minshew and O'Connell having to come in after Minshew was struggling all year long. Then O'Connell gets injured. Then Minshew comes back in. Then he's making plays at times that he gets hurt. He gets injured. Then O'Connell comes back in. He gets injured. He gets hurt. I mean, this team cannot have nice things.
This team is a bigger dumpster fire than Ryback's WWE career. Block me, bitch. Anyways, I'm one of the few people who actually hasn't blocked yet. Who would have thought? Also, too, the Giants head coach Brian Dable told reporters that Drew Lock is in a walking boot due to a heel injury, and Tommy DeVito is now expected to start Sunday versus the Ravens.
Again, another team that's had quarterback injuries and inconsistency. They don't know who they're like, okay, you're healthy, I guess. You're the quarterback. Okay, you're healthy, I guess. Okay, you're the quarterback. I mean, it's endless inconsistency going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Also too, yeah, yeah. Also too is this, and that is let's see here. I just saw it and it scrolled by this. Oh, good news for the 49ers tonight. They get back Dre Greenlaw and Nick Bosa.
Good. And I know Greenlaw's been out for months with that injury with his Achilles.
Yep, and Greenlaw is set to return.
Boy, and this right here, I know the Niners are 6-7, but this could spark a fire underneath this organization to make some moves as the season progresses because they are in a division where Seattle, the Rams, and the Cardinals are hovering either slightly over 500 or just below 500. Like it is crazy how they are still technically in the mix of things.
Yeah, they need to figure it out because it's not pretty. But
Oh,
let's see. Seahawks running back Kenneth Walker III didn't practice today due to his calf injury. And then of course, got to mention too something that's stuck in my head since the other day. That was the guy from the Carolina Panthers, Jonathan Brooks, who retore his ACL in the same knee that he tore it in last year, which will now put him out for another 6 to 9 months.
Okay,
Well.
let's try this again. My apologies, guys. My internet decided it wanted to go out for a minute. Like, completely out. So let's try this again. But anyway, as I was saying, Kirk Herbstreit's son has committed to play for the University of Michigan, Ohio State's biggest rival.
ooh, interesting.
Well, if isn't that a glorious kick in the nuts to your father?
Exactly.
That would be like your father played for the Cubs and then your son goes and plays for the White Sox or the St. Louis Cardinals.
or how about, or we can actually relate this to a real life situation. Juan Soto leaving the Yankees to go play for the Mets.
Yeah, pretty much. Wow.
Or you could be playing for the Dallas Cowboys and then go play for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Ugh.
But if you go
Oh,
play for
speaking of
Or the Giants go to the Eagles.
if you play for the Panthers, but if you go for the Panthers to the Cowboys or back and forth, it's the same hell you're going into no matter what.
Yep.
Speaking of the Cowboys,
it's like sitting in a whole. It's like my hell, sitting in front of a TV, in a room where it plays nothing but reruns of Friends.
speaking of the Cowboys, I happened to hear a little story about Santa Claus. Apparently, instead of coal this year, Santa's gonna give the naughty kids Dallas Cowboys jerseys and T-shirts.
No.
Oh. What's crazy is Dak Prescott and his fiance are going to have baby number 2. In all seriousness, though, congratulations to them. Though that's awesome. I'm glad, and I'm glad. Hopefully, the baby is healthy. Hopefully, she has a good pregnancy. But here's the thing: I'm surprised at. She's engaged. I mean, women in Dallas or Dallas itself hasn't seen a ring in almost 30 years. What the fuck?
Yeah,
And
well,
and also
He must have got engaged. He must have got engaged in like San Francisco or something.
and honestly, that's the only ring that Dak Prescott is gonna see while he's a member of the Cowboys. It's his own and his wife's wedding rings.
here's also something that's very damning, fellas. Dak Prescott, and I say this with love and also jokingly in a way, he has scored a major victory, unlike the Cowboys will in their last 29, 30 plus years without reaching the Super Bowl. He has actually become a father for a second time.
Speaking of father, I want to throw this in here real quick. Logan Paul did an interview recently with Sports Illustrated, and somebody asked him, when are you going to return to wrestling? And I don't know if this is true, if he's just playing it because he's a heel. He said, "I'm retired. I'm a dad now, bro."
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
I'll believe that when I see it.
Yep.
I'll believe it when I see it.
But good news for the good news though for quarterback Aiden O'Connell. Luckily, it's only a bone bruise on his knee, no other structural damage. So good news for him. At least he won't be out too long. Same thing with Isaac Orendo from the 49ers. He suffered a foot sprain, so the team will evaluate him over the next few days to see if he'll have a shot to play tonight versus the Rams. Of course, we just covered the return while you were gone, Joey, fixing your internet. We talked about tonight being the returns of both Nick Bosa and Dre Greenlaw.
Oh yes. So that's gonna provide San Francisco a pretty big push.
Which they need at this point in time,
Yeah, big time.
They definitely do.
And then the Saints also are dealing with quarterback issues because Derek Carr is in concussion protocol and also is dealing with the left hand injury that won't need surgery and will leave the quarterback as week to week.
Yeah, and if you're in New Orleans, you could not afford to have this happen, but it's happening, and there's still a lot of teams that are jockeying for playoff positions in both the NFC and the AFC that are trying to sneak in and get these last couple of wild card spots. And Week 14 was a very interesting week.
By the way, this involves a little football talk, basketball talk, and baseball because Sports Center did a comparison between Juan Soto's 15-year salary and the combined salaries of two of sports' greatest. We know Juan Soto's making $765 million over the next 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
700 compared to $761 million. The combined career salary earnings of both Tom Brady and LeBron James.
Jeez.
Two 20-year careers, 40 years. It took them to combine to make $761 million. Yet one guy in less than half the time could make over $250,000.
Unreal.
I saw that on the Sports Center page. I wanted to bring that up. So, let's see. Any other major news? Obviously, we know Jets have been eliminated from playoff contention.
That brings up my point that I want to make because Rodgers was on the Pat McAfee show the other day, and he was critical of these players, these analysts, that are ex-players, and they're, the only reason why they're getting notoriety is of talking about me and my team is because they're on Sports Center and they're talking about this and that, the games and all this type of stuff, and they're being critical, and I'm like, okay, I get what he's saying, how Sports Center used to be about highlighting games and all that type of stuff. I get that. At the same time, today's podcasters and media personalities, not only on the internet, but obviously on the worldwide television, have the right to be critical of your team when it's good or bad. So I think Rodgers is attacking these players for the wrong reasons, because he wasn't, being critical of them when they were playing great. Just saying.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's see here. Let's go over some of the games for this week since we got a little bit of time before we have to do score predictions. And just to let you know, our score predictions is brought to you by the new motion picture about Italian Native Americans called Pasta the Mohicans. So you have that.
Obviously, the biggest game for me.
Not even a fucking chuckle from you two to drools. As the great Cardman once said, "Screw you guys, I'm going home."
Hey, at least that was more funnier than the Cowboys punt team.
I'm telling you, the Cowboys, they always find a way to lose an NFL game, but this may be the most pathetic an embarrassing way to lose a football game. Oh my gosh.
That was more funny than watching Disco Inferno get hit by a chair by La Parca.
I mean, the special teams player, you know the game. Or are you supposed to know? Get the hell out of the way if the ball's coming near you. Get out of the way.
Move, bitch! Get out the way.
I was sitting there listening to the game on Westwood One, and Kurt and oh my God, Kurt Warner and Kevin Harlan were both speechless during this game. They were like, "What just happened?" I mean, a block punt. I'm like, okay, whatever. Cowboys got the ball back. They got Bengals side of the field. Yeah, whatever. They're gonna win this game probably. Nope. They decided to make one of the biggest blunders of the NFL season this year. Block the punt, and then they muff it. And then they also not just muff it, they also, one of the players touches the ball. Like, what are you doing? And then the Bengals make you pay for it. A couple plays later, 40-yard touchdown pass from Burrow.
And let's not forget about the best part. Even though it wasn't 4 minutes left to go in the game, Micah Parsons pulled a LeBron James and walked off the field with about 10 seconds to go in the game.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Micah Parsons pulled a LeBron.
Speaking of Micah Parsons, thank you for that segue. You know what the funniest thing about this idiot is? He said, "This is the worst loss that I've had. More worse than the playoffs." What?
Well,
you mean to tell me that this loss in Cincinnati was worse than your defense allowing 48 points at home against the Packers last year in the playoffs? What?
All-time bonehead play.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
If you were to look up all-time bonehead plays.
He was talking about weeks ago how the season ain't over until the fat lady is singing our season ain't over. Well, Mr. Parsons, I think your season's pretty much
that fat
done.
lady is singing now.
Because the Cowboys this year are 1-6 at AT&T Stadium.
Oh, by the way, I also have a message for Mr. Aaron Rodgers after the Jets got eliminated for the playoffs. You know, I have a message for him. Well, hold on. If the message would get off mute, I'd be able to play it because phones are stupid. Here we go.
Oh, well, I will say if there is a bright spot to this whole Aaron Rodgers drama, he could talk about it in this new documentary called Enigma.
Oh, and he is an enigma, all right. He is one of a kind. That title suits him very well.
Yeah, but see, he's not the good kind of enigma. He's like Jeff Hardy, Victory Road, 2011, Stone against Sting.
Oof.
Enigma. That's he's not Jeff Hardy, 2004, 2005 era. He's definitely Victory Road.
Yeah, not a good day at the office for both the Jets and the Cowboys this year, but perhaps the best game of the regular season just took place last Thursday in the Motor City between the Lions and the Packers. What a hell of a game.
That was a battle.
One hell of a game played by both organizations.
One advantage about not having a job right now, I can sit and watch as much NFL as I fucking want.
Yes. I mean, it was a battle for the ages. I mean, just a physical battle between two teams vying for playoff positioning and division titles. I mean, just Detroit right now, even though they are banged up on the defensive side of the football, they are playing a lot of good football this year, highlighted by that offense. And Jared Goff and Gibbs and David Montgomery and Amrod St. Brown and then the cast of characters, Sam Laporta, you name it. And then, the offensive line playing good ball. And they're defensive players, even when they do go down, injured. Next man up, they still get up and they still, they don't quit on the play, and they fight tooth and nail with the opposite opponent, and Jordan Love made some great plays in this game. And Josh Jacobs had 3 TDs in this game. I mean, just unbelievable performances, by both teams involved. And also Dan Gamble. Dan Gamble, 5 fourth down tries, goes 4 of 5. Hey, not too bad. But I'm sitting there listening to this game on Westwood One going, I don't know about this, man. There's a couple of those fourth down tries. I was going, dude, just take the points. Just take the points. Just take the points. The biggest momentum swing in this game for me was one that could have gone Green Bay's way, but it didn't. When the 1 fourth down conversion that they attempted from their own 31-yard line that failed, Green Bay capitalized on a touchdown a few plays later in the end zone. If Green Bay capitalizes on a couple more plays that take a more commanding lead or take the lead again, they're probably going to win this game. But that didn't happen. But give credit to Dan Campbell and to the rest of the players for following his leadership and his guidance. And they made the more plays, and also the other fourth down conversion that had me, reeling in this game was when on the last fourth down attempt that they converted, obviously Goff fell down. He tripped, but he still had enough clock management in his head, to still hand the ball off to Gibbs, and he got the first down. He falls down and doesn't hand that ball off. It's a blown fourth down play that goes a complete disaster, and Green Bay gets the ball back with a chance to win the game.
I mean, it definitely was a game to watch. That was definitely one of the best Thursday night games we've had this year.
And you can put it up there with the Baltimore and Pittsburgh and the Washington, Cincinnati, and the freaking Baltimore, or Buffalo and Kansas City, or hell, even the recent game on Sunday with Buffalo and the Rams that turned into a shootout. I mean, just there's actually been quite a bit of games this year that have been very, very competitive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I still can't believe the Bears lost to a depleted 49ers team, but then again, I accept failure more than I accept anything else at this point when it comes to my sports teams, but it is what it is. 49ers had a good game. They got a win, much needed, so congrats to them. Like you said, that Buffalo Rams game was another one that was off the chain. That was absolute, just fucking crazy game from start to finish. Of course, we saw Jacksonville beat Tennessee. We saw Tampa Bay stomp the Raiders. Vikings clipped the Falcons. And
Carolina hung in with Philadelphia.
Which that's been shocking me lately, how good Carolina has actually been playing. So, I mean, they're not going to be anywhere near sniffing any playoff contention, but they're still going to be saying, "Hey, we're not down for the count just yet," And that's the thing is, they're proving their toughness, and that's, yes, we make fun of Carolina Panthers all the time because of the organization and how bad it's ran, and the players on it. But if you take a look at that organization, they fought, they scratched a claw their way to get to to get the wins that they did. Yes, some of the teams were not the best teams, but they did what they could. They did what they needed to do. So, I mean, you can't fault them. It's like if the Charlotte Hornets were to somehow get, some wins under their belt, and even a shocking win against like a Lakers or Bulls or something like that, depending on what games they play. Something like that. That's all it is. So I give Carolina credit on that front. I mean, they're still organization still is a complete dumpster fire in a sense because you still got fucking Tepin running that shit. But it is what it is. But real quick, Joey, do you have any scores from Kevin by any chance?
I do not. I haven't heard from Kevin actually.
Yes, and I know Kevin's been dealing with a personal matter. We're not going to get into it on air,
Yeah,
but
I figured he was going to be on the show tonight.
well,
Since we haven't heard from him.
Well, here's what we'll do. We'll keep going a little bit here. We'll give it about another 10 minutes or so, and if not, we're going to get into the score predictions, and we'll just have to add Kevin's to the tally later, if needed, because I know he's dealing with something personal. Like I said, we're not going to get into the details on air because it's a private matter, but we're going. Yeah, we'll give it about 10 more minutes, and we'll do the score predictions. That way, we can get rolling on that. We can get those in before the 9 o'clock hour. That way, we can go ahead and close the show out just around that time. And then, obviously, the OT game between the Jets and the Dolphins. Of course, that led to the Jets being officially eliminated from playoff contention. The Giants losing to the Saints 14-11. And of course, the Monday night game between Cincinnati and Dallas. So, there were some good games on, definitely. We got a good slate of games coming up real quick, and I do want to plug a couple of things for this weekend. Obviously, it's not a big weekend. We haven't talked about the college. We didn't talk about the college. Did we talk about college football playoffs and all that last week and brackets and everything already set?
Last week we did, but we didn't talk about this week's, obviously.
No, we didn't.
No, because didn't we have a couple of games go on for that right now?
The games are gonna start for that next Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, the playoffs are officially set.
Yeah, Friday. The playoffs are officially set.
Okay, the playoffs are officially set, so why don't we take a quick peek at it?
All right. Well, I pretty much got the whole schedule memorized. Well, not when each game is going to happen, but I do have the matchups.
I will tell you the matchup that personally I'm most excited to see is Indiana versus Notre Dame. That is going to be a fucking insane game because of the area. Because you got to think, you got Indianapolis taking on South Bend. It's a battle of Hoosier State, and it is in tickets for that game. I checked, are fucking astronomical because of this matchup. Not because it's a number 17 versus number 10, but the fact it's two Indiana teams, one more central southern, one northern, going at each other. It's like Texas. It's like the Longhorns going up against A&M or something. You know what I mean?
Or it's like Oklahoma, versus Oklahoma State. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. I mean, just unbelievable.
Well, I can tell you the one game that I'm very, very interested in. The one game that I am going to be tuning into to seeing how things go is going to be number 8 versus number 9. Tennessee going to the Horseshoe to take on the Buckeyes of Ohio State.
It's going to be a hell
That is going to be a very entertaining game to watch.
And you got to think the winner of that goes on to take on Oregon.
Yeah.
And then you got SMU, Penn State. Winner of that has to go against Boise State. And then
yawn.
Indiana, Notre Dame has to face fucking Georgia.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
You got Clemson and Texas, and then a winner of that has to play Arizona State.
And that right there is the one thing about this college playoff bracket real quick that's really cool is this gives everybody a fighting chance to get in.
Absolutely. This is and not saying nothing bad against the teams that aren't in. Obviously, Joey, I know you were disappointed that Alabama unfortunately did not make the cut this year.
I mean, yeah, I'm disappointed, but I wasn't surprised.
Yeah. So, but you look at a lot of these matchups, and a lot of these matchups are good. They're not exactly. I mean, you're not going to expect shootouts, but you're going to expect games that are going to be super competitive, super physical, and you're going to expect the best out of all these teams. Even if a certain team who's a lower level doesn't make it, they're going to put in their 100% best effort. And it's going to be great football. We all know that when it comes to these college football playoff games, you get some of the best football, regardless if it's college or NFL. Some of the best games of the year are these games.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And
I'm
especially
actually
the
gonna make a
matchups.
bold. I'm actually gonna make a bold prediction here, and again, this is just
Mhm.
a bold prediction. And yes,
Okay.
this is a prediction, not a spoiler, because I don't know what's gonna happen come with these college football playoffs. But
Yeah.
obviously, Alabama's not in the playoff, and yes, that hurts. But I'm still gonna be pulling for the three teams in the SEC that are in the playoffs. And honestly, if each SEC team that's in this plays their cards right and makes the plays that they know they can make, and if they can play offense, defense, and special teams like the best of them, it would not surprise me if we see all three SEC teams in the Final Four. It will not surprise me.
The one team that you're alluring to, I am thinking that Georgia is going to be back in the Final Four. I mean, Georgia is hungry to win another national title. I mean, just
Yeah.
after having
And
success a
honestly, you
couple
can't.
years ago and not getting it this past year, they are hungry to win another championship.
And honestly, you can't count out Texas or Tennessee either.
Nope.
I mean, honestly, if Tennessee, if they can get by Ohio State and play their cards right, like they know that they can play, it honestly won't surprise me if Tennessee goes into Oregon and beats them. It would not surprise me. Because Tennessee knows how to put a good team on that field. And it wouldn't surprise me if Texas gets by Clemson and then goes to Arizona State and beats them. That wouldn't surprise me either. I mean, do I think it's going to happen? No, not really. But it would still be nice to have all three SEC teams left in the Final Four.
And it's also nice to have a little bit of parity, in here because Arizona State has never been this far. I mean,
No,
to see teams that have never had a fighting chance to
Arizona.
play in a tournament,
Arizona State has never even gone to the playoffs at all.
to see teams that have never had a chance to fight for a national title. This is what college football has been wanting for a very long time. And when it was for years, it was the top two teams were the teams that were playing for the national title. That was cool at first, but then it got boring and old because there's not an unpredictable outcome that could happen. Now we have that because either one of these 12 teams that are in the tournament can make a run if they catch lightning in a bottle. And it wouldn't surprise me if college football does expand to 14 and then later on 16. But no matter what, 12, 14, 16, this is a hell of a victory for college football, and it's about time. And to have multi schools that are going to be in contingency for getting into the postseason, it's going to be incredible to see how far this goes. Because this is a win-win for all teams involved. Because even those that did not make the top 12, they still had a chance of getting into the big dance. I mean, even though Alabama's season wasn't that great, they still had a puncher's chance on getting in if the committee thought that they were well deserved of getting into the tournament. But the fact that you have so many teams like Oregon who have not been in this position in years, Clemson hasn't been here in a couple of years. I mean, there's a lot of teams in here that have had, shots at winning the title or have come close to doing it, but they're finally able to be in the tournament. It's really cool, to see what's going on in college because now they have their own version, essentially, of March Madness. Because we know that March Madness is the greatest tournament in sports, in our humble opinion. Because when March happens, that's when everything happens. Because any team can make a run, to the Final Four or the national championship game in college basketball. The fact that now college football now has their own, you know, multi teams inside of a tournament, you winner goes on and the loser goes home. I mean, it's really fascinating to see how this goes for the next several years in college football. So kudos to the committee. Even though if you are a fan of one of these teams that did not get in, I understand, you have a right to be disappointed. But at the same time, just be happy that we have options now. It's not two teams, it's not four teams, it's 12. That's way better than the limitations of options that we had. Because by, the last week of the season going in, and usually you thought, even years ago, like 10, 15 years ago, you're thinking, okay, Alabama, yeah, they're going to get in, they're going to get in. But now that there is unpredictability involved, there is no telling who's going to be in the Final Four and who's going to be playing in the national championship game.
But the one thing, in my opinion, as a avid college football fan, I get the fact that you want to have conference champions be in the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. I mean, you win the conference, you get either a high bowl game or a trip to the playoffs. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But it just doesn't seem right with me that it needs to be that way. Because, I mean, think of the backlash that some of these players from teams that did not get into playoffs, like Alabama, Miami, Ole Miss, South Carolina. Those players and these coaches are absolutely shocked that they did not even get included in the field because they honestly played better than teams such as Arizona State, SMU, Clemson. I mean, they played better than all those three teams combined, but yet those three teams are in the playoffs, and they're not.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ask me, if I was head of the college football playoff committee, I'm not against the 12-team playoff. Trust me,
Sure.
I'm not.
Sure.
But what I would like to see is the teams ranked 1 through 12, regardless of conference championships, regardless of strength of schedule, regardless of quality wins. The 12 teams that need to be in the playoffs, in my opinion, are the ones that finished 1 through 12. Because that right there would give you tons of high-profile college football playoff games to tune into.
That's a good point because when you think about it, because the way this is laid out, it's not top to bottom. Who's the winner of this conference? Who's the winner of that conference? It's not listed like that because it's spread out across, and stuff like that. So I get what you're saying as far as conference, title winners and stuff like that. List them, from record to record. Okay, let's say if Oregon had a better record than Georgia, let's say they went, 12-4, and Georgia went, I don't know, 11-5. You put Oregon over Georgia because they had the better record.
Right. And let's just say, for example, if you have an 11-1 Texas team, 11-1, only lost one game the whole entire year, but yet Actually, you know what? That's a bad example. What if, let's just say, and I'm just throwing a random team out there, Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say they finish 8-4. They play off and on football throughout the college football season. No, you know that's another bad example. I forgot Notre Dame doesn't really play in the conference. Okay, um, okay, Michigan State. They play in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what if Michigan State finishes 8-4? They play off and on football throughout the year, but yet they somehow win the Big Ten championship. Do you mean to tell me that Michigan State, who finished 8-4, deserves a nod in the playoffs over a, let's just say, 10-2 Texas A&M team?
Mm.
No.
Good point. Good point.
No.
Good point.
Absolutely not.
Good point. Good point.
Absolutely not. Because, I mean, my dad, whenever we were talking about this, he brought up this exact same point. What if a conference champion in college football goes 6-6? You expect them to go to the playoffs over a 9-3 or a 10-2 squad? No. No. That's not how this is supposed to work. It needs to be the teams that finish 1-12 in the final rankings. Screw the college champion or screw the conference championships. Screw that. This needs to be the 12 best teams that are left in college football that need to be in these playoffs, 1-12. Screw the conference championships.
Going to be really interesting to see how this goes in the next several years, because everywhere we look around in college football, it is constantly evolving.
Yep.
And that also begs the question, too, when it comes to Bill Belichick next year, how is he going to get accustomed to in his first year as head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels? Because we talked about that about 30 some odd minutes ago, talking about Belichick, becoming the next head coach for the Tar Heels. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that, because there's no guarantee that he's going to have a great, successful first campaign.
Nope.
Exactly not. All right, guys. It's 7:35. Let's go ahead and get into the score predictions. We'll have to get Kevin's after the show is over if he doesn't get him in by the show. And we'll just add him to the tally for next week.
Yeah.
And I know, Joe, you probably got to head to bed soon because of work. And what's up?
Yeah, let's say let's go ahead and get to the game that's actually being played right now as we speak.
Yep, San Francisco right now is up on the Rams 3-0.
Haha, nice.
Yes, and that is the game that's going on tonight. The LA Rams in the Bay Area to take on the Niners.
All right, well, let's see.
I think the final score in this one I'm gonna go with, you know what, with Nick Bosa and Dre Greenlaw back, I'm gonna go with the Niners in a close one. I'm gonna go 27-24.
Okay, Hijacker is picking the Rams over the Niners in this one, 26-21.
Yeah, we'll have to get that other game from Hijacker as well too.
He actually just sent it.
I got it already.
He's got it.
I got it. Just
you did?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
he just sent it.
Okay, good. All right. So what do you feel?
You know what? With the Niners playing at home, and since they got Nick Bosa and Dre Greenlaw back, I'm gonna go with the Niners as well. I'm gonna go with the Niners 26-20. You know what? 26-23.
Yeah, since they got Bosa back and they got Greenlaw, like you guys have said, I am gonna go with San Francisco as well because this Rams team, although they do have good offensive pieces, Stafford and Puka Nacua and Cooper, Cooper Cup, they have great receivers and stuff. I just think that the Niners defense is going to be playing aggressively in this game, and I think they're going to pull out a victory to pull even. I think the Niners are going to end up winning this game. I'm going to go San Francisco 27-21.
Okay. Oh
Okay.
my God.
Oh boy.
If Dallas loses this game, oh my God.
It is the first 1:00 Eastern Time game. It is the Cowboys taking on the Panthers. I'm gonna go
Carolina.
I'm gonna go with Dallas in this one. 21-20.
Believe it or not, Hijacker is picking the Panthers to win this game, 18-16.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? Let's see. I got a little bit of a tiny side note here. Oh yeah, Carolina is going to get 9 safeties. Dallas 8 safeties.
Okay.
That's something Hijacker would say.
Yes.
Look,
Uh,
Heidenreich had an obsession with telling poems. Snitsky had an obsession with kicking babies. Hijacker Mike has an obsession with safeties.
And safety protocols.
He needs to contact Dr. Shelby and get him on the hotline quick.
but give me the Cowboys to win this one. I don't like it. I don't like saying the Cowboys to win at any time, obviously. But I'm going to go with the Cowboys because they actually play better on the road than they do at home, which is kind of weird. So give me the Cowboys. Yeah. I'm going to go... You know what? I'm feeling odd in this one. Let's go 13-12.
Huh. Yeah, I don't feel good about it. I mean, even though Carolina is playing good, I don't trust them because they're a team that, they have their weeks, but where they're playing good, and then there's weeks, where they're playing pretty good, but then they make boneheaded plays. I mean, and they start looking like a 3-win team. I mean, even though they have played better ball, I don't know what the hell happened to Bryce Young, but Bryce Young has found this revival in his career. I mean, but with that being said, give me the Cowboys on the road. I don't like it. I don't feel good about it. But give me the Cowboys to squeak by the Panthers 20-17.
Okay.
All right. Let's see here. For me, let's see. The next game is Kansas City and Cleveland.
Give me the Chiefs. This is gonna be a monster blowout from the word go. Give me the Chiefs outright, 34-10.
Wait. Time out, Joey. We're talking about the Chiefs here. They are the kings of winning close games. Come on, this is okay. You got them going outright. I got the Chiefs winning again by squeaking out another victory. Give me the Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs 17-16.
Bro, you gotta bring up the 16 crap again for Cleveland.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And what's going to happen?
Well,
Jameis Winston is going to throw a pick while they're driving.
Well, Hijacker is picking the Chiefs outright, 24-13.
Oh boy.
34-13, Kansas City.
I mean, the Chiefs can win blowout games too.
Yeah, we will definitely see about that. All right, next one is the Finns taking on the Texans and Houston.
Ooh, this is a toughie.
Yeah, this game is actually pretty tough because, first off, we don't know which Houston Texans team is going to show up. Well, I'll go and start with Hijacker's score. He's picking the Dolphins 20-17.
You mean the Texans in this one? 24-20.
Yeah, Miami is a hard team to figure out. I don't trust their defense. Their offense, if Tua doesn't turn the ball over, they can play pretty well at times and have a fighter's chance of winning. Since if the game was in Miami, I would probably pick the Dolphins. But since the game is in Houston, give me the Texans to win in a close one still. Give me Houston with the final score of 23-17.
Give me Houston on a game-winning field goal 19-16.
All right, next
Oh
one.
God.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you guys are gonna do. You guys are gonna.
If Aaron Rodgers loses this game, yeah, you might as well go and hang up your cleats, buddy.
Yep, Jets going to Jacksonville to take on the Montana Jaguars.
The Jaguars. Oh.
Oh, that was good.
No,
That
it's not
was
snowing
good.
in Jacksonville. It's Tony Khan's stash being dropped off on a Colombian plane.
He had
But
he
give me
had
the
to
Jets.
grind that one out to get the stash.
Let's see. Hijacker is picking the Jets 21-19. I'm gonna go with the Jets as well. I'm gonna go 24-14.
Give me. This is a tough one.
God.
Give me the Jets. Not happy about it. Give me the Jets 21-18.
You know what? Again, the mantra, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I don't feel good about it. This is the Jets.
Fool me again, I am a fucking idiot.
Exactly. Fool me again, I am a fucking idiot, like you just said. Give me the Jets. I don't feel good about it. If they lose to this Jaguars thing, they deserve to be in football hell. Give me the Jets to at least get a victory. Give me the Jets 21-17.
Okay.
All right. Next up is Joey's Commanders taking on the Saints.
I'll go and start this one off. Let's see. First off, Hijackers picking the Commanders 20-19. I am going with my Commanders because, for one thing, the Saints are going to be without several starters, including Derek Carr, Chris Olave. Let's see who's still on IR. They're still going to have Alvin Kamara, but the Saints are going to be without Taysom Hill as well. And also, the guy that we acquired at the trade deadline a month back is finally going to be making his debut with the Commanders.
Coincidentally, it's against the Saints.
Yeah, coincidentally, it's against his old team. Marshawn Lattimore will be making his debut on Sunday, facing his old team. So, with that being said, give me my Commanders. We're coming off a bye week. We're healthy. We're strong. We're ready to fight the rest of this season. Give me my Commanders. I'm going to go 31-13.
I got the Commanders winning this one 27-17.
Give me the Commanders in this one. Give me Washington 27-14.
All right. Next one is the Ravens taking on the football Giants at MetLife. Give me.
Ass kicking alert.
Yep,
Ass kicking alert.
definitely.
Give
Give me
me the Ravens to win this one. I'm gonna go 38-7.
34 to 13. Ravens.
Give me Baltimore to bounce back after losing to Philadelphia. Give me Baltimore 34-10.
And Hijackers picking the Ravens 28-10.
All right. Next one is Cincinnati heading to Nashville to take on the Titans.
All right, and this is a game that Hijacker was missing up until just now. But he is going with the Bengals 24-16.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with the
the
Bengals as well.
Yeah.
The Bengals, they did look good against Dallas, but then again, everybody's looked good against Dallas at some point, whether they won or lost. Give me the Bengals to win this one. I think they're going to continue to bounce back, and as of right now, the Bengals are technically still in the hunt to get a playoff spot. So they just about need every win that they can get from this point out.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, give me the Bengals. I'm going to go 27-19.
Yeah, give me Cincy in this one because, like you just said, they need any victory they can get right now because they have struggled to win close games at times this season, and they've finally got over the hump against the Cowboys on Monday night. But give me Cincinnati to win this game. Give me Cincy in a dogfight because I think the Titans aren't going to go down without a fight either. Give me the Bengals to pull out a victory 24-20.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, give me the Bengals in this one. 28 to 21.
Okay.
All right. Next game is the Pats taking on the Cards in Arizona.
Let's see. Hijacker is picking the Patriots in an upset here in the desert. He's going with the Patriots 21-20.
Okay.
But seeing as how this game is out west in the desert, I'm gonna go with the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals, they have had their struggles, but I think they can pull at least this one out on their home field. So give me the Cardinals in this one. I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna go with the Cardinals 23-16.
You know what? Same score. 23-16 Arizona.
Nice.
Give me Arizona in this one. 24 to 10.
Okay.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yep.
The worst nightmare is back.
Colts and the Broncos.
Oh my god.
In Mile High.
Which is the exact same location as that horrendous game 2 years ago.
You know what? I'm going to start this one. Give me.
Oh my god. If we see another 12-9 score, I'm going to pull my hair out.
Give me. You know what? Just give me the Colts in this one. Give me the Colts in this one. 14-9.
Oh my god.
It's gonna be all field goal kicks for Denver.
Are you trying to have flashbacks to that shit show of the game on October the 5th? Or October the 6th?
Hey, it don't matter to me. I probably won't even get into my fucking market, and even if I do, I'll just sleep through it.
Oh dear God! Why couldn't had this game been on the Thanksgiving?
I'm still on a midnight sleeping. Look, I've been off work for 8 days, but I'm still on a midnight sleeping schedule, so I will sleep right through that bitch.
that that game will not be a part of the midnight special. No.
Well, let's see. Hijacker is picking the Broncos 27-24. I'm actually going to follow suit with Hijacker and pick the Broncos because the Broncos team this year is a hell of a lot better than the 2022 Broncos team.
Yeah.
They're a lot better than the Broncos from 2 years ago in this game. So give me the Broncos to win this one. I'm not going to go 12-9. Never. But I'm going to go with the Broncos. I'm going to go 21-14.
Yeah, give me Denver. I think they're the better football team. Give me Denver to pull away against the Colts. Give me Denver 27-13.
Okay. Oh, this game.
Yep, this game's gonna be a badass one. It is Buffalo going to the 3-1-3 to take on Detroit.
Good God, we got a banger after banger with Buffalo and Detroit after they had their two games against the Rams and against the Packers.
Give me Detroit 37-34. Game-winning field goal.
Hijacker is picking the Lions as well, 28-24. God, this one's tough.
Tough.
But you know what? I honestly cannot believe I'm about to say what I'm going to say. I think Buffalo's going to pull it out. Because Detroit, yes, they are having one of the best seasons they've ever had. But I just don't think they can go the rest of the season with just one loss. I'm actually gonna go against the grain here, and I'm gonna pick the Bills. Because the Bills, they have looked really good these past couple weeks, including Josh Allen getting a total of 6 touchdowns last week. 3 pass, 3 rush. Now, do I think he's going to get that many touchdowns in this game? Heck no. But Josh Allen's still going to make it a very entertaining game. So with that being said, give me Buffalo on a game-winning touchdown by Josh Allen in overtime. 30-27.
Oh, this is so tough. This is a tough game because, yeah, on one hand, you have a Buffalo team that has played very well on the road or at home. And then on the other hand, you have a Detroit team only has one loss. Eventually, they're going to have to lose a game. They're going to have to lose another game eventually just to get that, not get too, feeling too comfortable, within your skin. God, this is so tough. And the game's in Detroit.
Yeah, see, and honestly, even if Detroit loses every single game they have the rest of the season, they can still lock up a number 1 seed in the NFC.
Mm-hmm. God, this is tough.
Granted, Philly is not far behind Detroit, but still.
Very true. Very true. Yeah. You know what? I don't feel good about it because they've been playing, man, this is tough. This is probably one of the more difficult games on the schedule to pick.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so tough. You know what? Give me Detroit. I don't feel good. Give me Detroit. By the skin of their teeth, they're going to probably do it again. Don't feel good. Give me Detroit in a shootout, 37-34.
Same score I had.
Yeah, same score as Ezra.
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Next up is the Bucks taking on the Chargers.
Mmm.
And this one here is actually kind of tough too.
Yeah. Give me the Bucks. Give me the Bucks in this one in a close one. 26-23.
Let's see. Hijacker is picking the Chargers over the Bucks, 28-20.
Okay. Mmm.
You know, I don't feel good about it. I really don't. But give me the Bucks to pull this one out on the road. I'm gonna go the Bucks, 22-21.
Ooh. This is definitely a doozy.
I just don't know if I can trust this Chargers team because, I mean, yeah, their defense has looked stellar, but the offense has kind of looked below average as of late, especially with the fact that Lab McConkey might miss this game because of his injury that he has.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a key receiver that Justin Herbert could be
Yeah,
missing.
I don't trust this Chargers team to make any moves without any significant pieces off the field because even though Harbaugh is a good coach, I just think that this Bucks team has a little bit more firepower than the Chargers. Give me Tampa Bay to squeak this one out. Give me Tampa 23-20.
Oh golly, give us another banger up
Yep.
next.
Yep. Final afternoon game. Pittsburgh Steelers going to Philly to take on the Eagles.
Damn.
Guys, why are they giving us literally 3 back-to-back banger after banger after banger games? Man.
Give me the Eagles in this one. Give me the Eagles in this one. 28-24.
Let's see. Hijacker is picking the Eagles as well, 23-19. I honestly don't know. I mean, yeah, the Steelers are going to be without George Pickens this week, and that's definitely a big loss. But Pittsburgh has shown that they can actually play well without George Pickens. It doesn't affect Russell Wilson's performance at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I just don't know if I can trust this Eagles defense to try to keep up with Russell Wilson. I don't know if I can trust him. I mean, they almost lost on their home field to Carolina, for crying out loud, this past Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So I am actually going to go with the Steelers. I think the Steelers are going to go into Philly, and I think they're going to pull this one out. Give me the Steelers. Give me the Steelers 27-23.
Huh. And there's also the report going around that some of the Philadelphia players are not happy. Even though they're winning, some of the players in the Philadelphia locker room are very disgruntled. And again, this is another one of those games where it's tough to pick because Philly's played good, Pittsburgh's played good. If we really think about it, Philadelphia at times this year, they haven't really, I don't think Philadelphia's been tested. I really don't think they've been tested. And I think Russell Wilson can present a huge test to this team. You know what? I think Pittsburgh's going to do it. I think Pittsburgh's going to go on the road. I think their defense is slightly better. Give me Pittsburgh to win in a close game against Philadelphia at the gun on a game-winning Chris Boswell field goal, 28-27.
Whoa.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Sunday Night Football is going to be the Green Bay Packers traveling to the 12th man to take on the Seahawks.
Let's see. Hijacker is picking the Packers, 21-17. I'm going to follow suit because I just can't trust the Seattle Seahawks team right now. Especially, I mean, yes, they did beat Arizona this past Sunday, 30-18, with a very impressive performance by Geno. But they're now facing a team that has a much better defense and much better offense. So give me the Packers to win this one. I'm going to go Packers 31, Seattle 20. Oh, and especially the fact that Kenneth Walker from Seattle is now on the IR.
Oh, yeah.
Which means even though he had a good game this past week, Zach Charbonnet is going to get the star at running back for Seattle against this tough Green Bay defense.
Yeah, give me Green Bay to get back on the winning side of things because I think, since you just mentioned that Walker's going to be out, he's on IR. I don't trust this Seattle team to make a splash, without any of their significant running backs on the field. Give me Green Bay to win this game. Give me Green Bay 31-23.
Okay.
Give me Green Bay in this one, 27-21.
All right, and we got not one but two Monday night games this week.
Yep.
Yes, we do.
We start off with an NFC North showdown. The Bears going to Minnesota to take on the Vikings.
Let's see. Hijacker is picking the Vikings outright, 31-13.
Yeah, I'm going with the Vikings too. As much as I got to support my Bears, they're gonna win. They're gonna win big. They're gonna win 30-20 over Chicago.
I don't trust Chicago. I think the Falcons are going to go in here. They're going to obliterate.
You mean the Vikings?
The
Vikings. Excuse me. Yeah. Thank you. I don't trust Chicago. I think that the Vikings are going to destroy and obliterate the Bears. Give me Minnesota in this one. Give me Minnesota 34-14.
You know what? Exact same score.
Nice.
Vikings 34-14. But they could have done better with this last Monday night game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the Atlanta Falcons going to Vegas to take on the Raiders.
Oh, brutal.
You know what? I don't feel happy about it, but I trust this Falcons team more than this Raiders team right now, but not by a whole lot. So give me the Falcons to win this one. You know what? I don't care. 14-13. Who cares?
Give me Atlanta in a snooze fest of a game. Give me Atlanta 17-13.
Give me
and Hijacker, he's picking the Raiders to win this one 17-16.
Yeah, give me. And of course, the Falcons are going to end up having Desmond Riddler in there now because of the injury to their recent starting quarterback. So, definitely give me the Raiders in this one. Give me the Raiders in this one, 17-13.
Same score.
Which is actually fitting that Desmond Ritter is going to be starting a quarterback because he's going to be going up against the team that drafted him.
Point.
Interesting. But that's the score predictions for this week.
So
So I
yeah,
guess
hopefully we'll get Kevin's scores whenever he gets a chance.
And we'll add them to the books and we'll detail it all next week.
Yeah, and even if I don't get them until after the game tonight, still gonna count it.
Absolutely. All right, guys. I think that's pretty much the end of the show. I don't have anything else to explain. You guys have anything else you want to talk about before we go?
I think I'm
good.
good.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Joey, your final thoughts.
Once again, great show with you guys. Awesome talk about baseball free agency, and I know that's just getting started. So there's going to be plenty more moves that's going to be coming over the next few days, and we're going to bring y'all every single bit of it, or at least as much as we can. But just enjoy the football, enjoy all the other sports, and I do want to point out that this upcoming Saturday night is the return of Saturday night's main event.
Yes, it is.
So if you are a wrestling fan, make sure you tune in. And also, we're going to see the one and only Jesse Ventura be on commentary.
Yes, I will be on commentary. Listen to me talk as I give you the updates on all the new superstars.
And it's going to be, I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be a pretty rocking show.
But I was doing commentary in the Gulf of Tonkin.
I think it is going to be a pretty rocking show though, because we're going to have Cody against KO, we're going to have Liv against EO, and then we're going to have Gunther defending his title in a triple threat against Finn and Damien. So it's going to be a pretty good. I think it's going to be a pretty good show on Saturday.
And with the rumored and with everything that's pretty much rumored, the setup is going to be old school, no fancy lights, no big entrances. They're going to be coming through the crowd like they used to. Also,
not to mention, this was just confirmed. I think either like yesterday or the day before, but for one night only, Cody Rhodes is going to carry the prestigious Winged Eagle Championship.
Now that's not been 100% confirmed. That's the rumor going around. I mean, it's
I believe it's actually been confirmed now.
Yeah, I didn't see no confirmation yet, but I'll have to take a deep dive into it and check it out. I know also too that several legends and Hall of Famers will be in attendance, including people like Tito Santana, Greg the Hammer Valentine, and Coco Beware.
Very cool.
So those are just a few of the names that are rumored to be a part of this Saturday's event. Also, GCW is going to have a host of events all weekend long, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 major events leading up to, of course, the Hammerstein Ballroom events coming up, or the Hammerstein Ballroom event coming up January 14th. And also, too, speaking of Hammerstein, Ring of Honor's Final Battle is also going to be coming up, too. I believe it's not this weekend, I think it's next weekend. Yeah, next weekend. In where at the Rampage show at the Hammerstein, Chris Jericho will defend the Ring of Honor World Championship against always ready Matt Cardona. So it's going to be interesting shows coming up this week in the world of wrestling. Of course, Nation's Corner will have that covered. That covered back to front and front to back. So definitely check with them on that. Steven? Or Joey, you're finished with your thoughts, my friend?
Yeah, I'm finished.
Okay, brother, just double check before we move on to Mr. Wyand here. Mr. Wyand, you know close it out better than anybody, brother.
Well, just real quick, I'm also going to go and get off here because I got to hit the hay because I got a big day tomorrow.
All right, dude. Great job, man.
Peace out, guys.
Later.
Yep, great show with you guys. And once we get Kevin's scores, we will add that to the tally as we're off the air. And we'll put his scores into effect. That way he'll still be a part of the thing next week. And even after if this game is over, that's okay. It'll still count because he's got the game written down and his score going into the game. Great show with you guys this week. Covered a lot. I mean, baseball, college football with the playoffs coming up and the signing of Belichick to Carolina. as their next head coach, and the NFL and all that stuff, the score predictions, NBA, everything in between. I mean, just crazy, crazy, crazy busy this week. And very nice little throwback to doing the show on a Thursday for once in the blue moon because, due to scheduling conflicts and stuff, like it just worked out like that, how we were able to do this year for the first time in quite some time. And had a great show with you guys. And also, I had a great last couple of nights in the music realm because on Saturday, I took my father to or me and my father went to Fayetteville. I took him to the Blackberry Smoke show on me when it comes to being his birthday gift because his birthday was last week and I haven't really had no time to do nothing with him. And I figured why not let that Blackberry Smoke show be his birthday gift from me to him. And I mean, Blackberry Smoke put on a fantastic show. And what was really cool is going into the show, did not know who the opening act was going to be. And it turns out the opening act was a Southern rock band from the early 2000s by the name of Tisha Mingo. They came out around 2001. They got 3 albums that came out. And they put on a great show, played about 40 some odd minutes and sounded really killer. Good sound, good band. And Blackberry Smoke came out, played 2 hours of nonstop Southern rock and roll, sounded great as always. Charlie and the boys throwing it down. And then last night I was in Charlotte for the Steepwater Band, a Chicago blues rock band out of the Windy City, as they headlined an opening. And the main reason, not very often I go to a show for the opening act, but the opening act is a Southern rock band by the name of the Georgia Thunderbolts out of Rome, Georgia. And these guys they've been around for almost a decade. They're one of the best Southern rock bands of today. Great sound. I mean, just killer vocals, killer band. I mean, TJ Lyles, man. I mean, that dude's got a incredible voice. I mean, just he sounds like he does on record live. Like just an amazing talent. He can sing, he can play the hell out of a harmonica, and the rest of the band behind him, and Bristol and Ryan and Zach and uh the other guitar blanking on his name. Just great band. Great band. All killer, all live, and then of course the Steepwater Band came out and they played Chicago style blues and they killed it. They killed it. Sounded great. They both had a great set. Really cool vibe in there at the place they were playing. It's called the Neighborhood Theater in Charlotte, and it's a really cool little spot because it's not one of these big clubs and stuff. And it was just a night, had several tables in there, had a general admission standing up section where you could stand up there and check it out, or if you wanted to sit down, just really cool place. Had a Riley Kaiser, that's the guitar player, one of the guitar players. Logan Tolbert, that's the other guitar player. Yeah. So yeah, Zach and Logan and Riley and TJ and freaking just the entire band. They were great. I was completely surprised how much time they got. Ezra, because sometimes when you go to these concerts, sometimes the opening act doesn't get to play a full hour. Like
Nope.
even if it's not a well-known band.
Yeah.
So it was really cool for the guys in the Steepwater Band to give them a full hour. I was pleasantly surprised that they gave them a full hour. I mean, it was very nice surprise. And if these bands are coming near you, especially the Georgia Thunderbolts, especially bands like them and just Mojo Thunder or Dirty Honey or the Struts or any of these bands, that aren't well known. Support music. Support real live music. Bands that actually give a shit about perfecting their craft and putting in the work, putting in the effort. I mean, because like TJ said last night, in front of the crowd last night during the Thunderbolt set, he said we get gigs wherever we can get them because that's what you have to do. in the rock and roll, business and the music business, period. Because when you're an up and coming band and a band that's not well known, you got to get gigs in. You got to play. If you want to get your name out there, and they got a couple of records out. Can We Get a Witness came out 3 years ago, and then the new album came out back in August. Rise Above It All, just really, really good records by these guys. Love what they're doing. Love that they're keeping Southern rock alive, and just a great all around band. And I found these guys, and it pays sometimes to find bands and musicians on reaction channels. And I found these guys on a reaction channel. So shout outs to a guy by the name of Iridium Rock and Metal Reviews, who actually did a review, a reaction of one of their songs. And I'm like, okay, I like the name. They're a Southern rock band. Let me check them out. And I liked them from the first note. So shout outs to him, and, spreading the word of these, some of these, newer bands that's been around for a little bit that don't have a well-known name. But if these bands are out and about playing in your area, support live music, support real authentic music that has no tricks, no bullshit, and all of that good stuff. And great show with you guys. Can't wait to Saturday night's main event happening this Saturday, 8 p.m. on NBC and Peacock. You can follow us on Twitter at Owen_Sports Show, Facebook.com/The Sports Show, and where we are live on most Tuesday nights. But for the first time in quite some time, it was on a Thursday, YouTube.com/The Sports Show, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific is the time we mostly go live. And you can also follow the Nation's Corner on Twitter at Nation's Corner, Facebook at Nation's Corner, and where they are live on mostly every Saturday night, unless wrestling is not intercepting that better than Jameis Winston throws a pass in the NFL for a pick. You can watch them at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific at youtube.com/The Nation's Corner. And with that being said, Ezra, real quick, we're not going to, like Ezra and Joey have said, we are not going to mention the details of what happened to Kevin on the air. This is a personal thing that he has gone through, and understandably, that's why he was not on the show tonight. But again, like we said, we're here for you, brother. We're in your corner all the way through, my brother. And once his scores get in after the show is off the air, we will tally those into the predictions for next week as we recap Week 15 in the NFL and preview Week 16. It is so hard to believe that Christmas and New Year's Eve is around the corner. So with that being said, to everybody out there in the chat that tune in tonight live, thank you very much. And everybody who tunes in on demand, thank you very much as well. Ezra, wrap this up, my friend.
Yep, definitely. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We appreciate the support as always. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Still check out the Nation's Corner. Check out 2C Cosplay as well for all your cosplay wrestling needs as well. And catch all the shows this weekend. 3 GCW shows. Saturday night's main event. Next week, Ring of Honor. Final battle for the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City. Check that out as well. So for everybody here, for Randy, for Steven, for Joey, for Kevin, and for everybody in the Sports Nation, I am Mr. Vickery. We will see you next week for another great edition of our Nation's Sports Show. Take care, everybody. Have a great night. Enjoy the football, and we will see you all next week. Same time, same YouTube channel. Peace out.